hope you have unlimited text messaging. By Miss Carr. Chapter 104. Conversation 59. Now resuming date night. HSBF. So, it's Thursday, your time anyway. It's technically Friday morning for me. Are you up to date night? Or are you busy? Did something come up? Me. Definitely not busy. Me. Okay, I'm always busy, but I make time for you. I was worried that you wouldn't text. I know that Agent America told you to go dark after you tipped her off to where Purple Arrow was. Me. You know, after I specifically said not to make contact. Well, whatever. HSBF. She said I could still contact you, and I needed to know what was going on, especially if it put the others in danger. Me. She says I'm addicted to you, and she may be right. If we went any further than Thursday, I would have started having serious withdrawal symptoms. I think cocaine is less addictive than targeting you. HSBF. I don't know if I should be flattered or concerned. Me. Maybe a little bit of both. HSBF. How did the job interviews go for your new assistant? Me. Horribly. It's hard to find someone confident that could pass the security screening. I have batch 2 tomorrow, and I may have invited Benjamin and Agent to watch. Okay, they're invited to pull me out with a big emergency when it starts to really go south. HSBF. That's not a good sign. Me. Not really. Although on a happier note, Secretary Ross's now former assistant is making the talk show circuit, and it is not a pretty picture for him. These stories include him firing a senior staff member after they gained inhuman powers. HSBF. This does not surprise me. Me. He has been a complete asshole to his nephew who transitioned. However, there's more to the story. Pre-transition, S was trying to date her. She said no, and suddenly she's fired despite signing the accords and following all other required procedures. My lawyers are going to have so much fun. HSBF. Still not surprised. Me. I don't think anyone really is. My ex-science bro always said the guy was a dick, so I'm sure there must be more. Considering how many sexual harassment complaints SIHR made go away regarding Obadiah, that I didn't find out about until after he literally ripped my heart out, I'm sure there's more bodies buried somewhere. HSBF. I still wish that bastard was still alive, just so I could kill him. Me. You're so vicious and overprotective. Sometimes it's weird and a little adorable. HSBF. Well, as long as I'm adorable, it's okay. Me. By the way, Friday is doing some digging in DOD HR files to check for bodies. Although assholes like Roz are unfortunately scandal-proof. However, I am enjoying various PR people squirming to cover all this up. HSBF. So you know what he tried to do to Clint? Me. Yep! Roz's now former assistant has been so helpful. The lawyers are working on it. Also, Pepper agreed to add herself to the emergency foster parent list in case all of us get arrested. The children kind of fell in love with her when she was staying at the tower during my hospitalization. HSBF. That's good. Is Clint back? Me. Yep, he is DC in the bosom of Agent after his adventures on the West Virginia border. I think Laura is going down to DC tomorrow for the sole purpose of kicking his ass. I hope someone gets video footage of it. HSBF. You would. Me. Well, he should have told us that Roz was being a threatening asshole instead of running away and serving his wife with divorce papers, or rather running a solo mission to take said asshole out. Me. And yes, I'm aware that I have a tendency to avoid things and do have the history of not using the best coping mechanisms. Okay, and also I've ran a few solo missions that have turned out badly, but I know better now. HSBF. At least you're self-aware. Me. Getting more self-aware by the minute. So, are you ready to play? HSBF. Do you have time? Me. Always. Especially because technically this is working on Jane's special PR project, and she scares me. So, we're doing this tonight. Besides, the more time I get to talk to you, the happier I am. I do less dumb shit when I'm happy. HSBF. I'm glad. You'll be happy to know that Friday did send me the questions. Or rather, she forwarded to me the email that Jane sent to Stefan's dummy email account. Yes, I did in fact rehearse what I was going to say in a phone call before making the call, because it's still a new concept to me. I actually like text messaging better. It's like a short letter or telegraph. Me. Sometimes I suddenly realize how old you really are. Not that that's a bad thing, but we're going to have to figure out how to reword that for public consumption. Me. For the sake of quid pro quo, I don't rehearse what I am going to say when making a phone call, most of the time. This has led to disaster. This is also why I prefer text messaging. I'm less likely to stick my foot in my mouth that way. HSBF. Since we're no longer at each other's throats, I think it's working. Me. True. However, I must admit that when I call the board, I do rehearse or at least plan now what I'm going to say because Pepper would kill me. Even then, the calls don't always go well. HSBF. That doesn't shock me. Me. Okay, moving on to better questions. So what is your perfect day? HSBF. That's not the question. Me. I am paraphrasing. HSBF. Okay, my perfect day would be waking up next to you and not having to worry about Ross or the Accords. Me. Or when villains attack, or when aliens will fall from the sky because you know they're going to fall from the sky at any moment. HSBF. Exactly! I just want us to be together and not have to worry about anything else. Me. You're such a sap. It's adorable. Yeah, I want something similar, except no SI stuff and no work crisis. Just us together all day, nothing possibly going wrong. Bonus points for the fact that I am now allowed to engage in sexual activities. The doctors Simmons and Suarez gave me the green light a couple of days ago. HSBF. That would definitely be a perfect day. Me. We got close, minus the sexual content. Then Happy screwed up and Ben had a building collapse on him. Still not happy. HSBF. Have you talked to Happy since the dinner at Pepper's house? Me. A little. He's not happy about Yo-Yo relocating to LA, but that's mostly because everybody feels like I need a babysitter. HSBF. Because somebody tried to kill you less than 2 months ago. Me. I can take care of myself. HSBF. One of your employees tried to kill you using your food allergies. Me. Point. Mr. and Mrs. Purple Arrow will be around as soon as they work out their marital issues, and Spidey Bat will be around. Also, Agent is vetting assistants. HSBF. Will the 2 Purple Arrows really be around? Me. Yes, actually, because I think Agent America will cut off his dick if he tries something like stupid again. She is invested mostly because she doesn't want him running off to be with Agent. HSBF. I think that bridge has been burned from what I understand. Me. Yeah, I would have said the same thing about us, but here we are. So maybe no relationship is completely that far gone. HSBF. That's true. Me. Okay, time for another question. When did you last sing to yourself or someone else? Also, I'm going to add, what were you singing? Okay, these questions are ridiculous. How do they help you find intimacy? HSBF. Because you will only provide the real answer to someone you really trust. Me. Point. HSBF. I don't really sing them myself, although I have sung to James. People in comas can hear you when you speak to them. So I thought I would try the last time I saw him. Just an old lullaby from when we were kids. Although it's been a few months. I haven't seen him since we started talking to one another. My work has been keeping me away, though. Me. Okay, bonus points for you figuring out the subterfuge thing. I kind of love you a little bit more for that answer. Although maybe we're going to have to come up with a different name for your best friend. HSBF. I don't see why. You have a best friend named James, too. Me. Point. HSBF. Your turn. Me. Sometimes in the lab, I do start singing along with the music. It depends on the song. I'm sure Friday has video. Friday. Several of which have been forwarded to your personal email account. HSBF. Thanks, Friday. Do any of those videos include singing to somebody else? When was the last time you did it? Me. Probably when I helped put Lily Bear to sleep 20 minutes ago. She still wants me there for her bedtime routine. Although that might be because her daddy disappeared again because he was being a jackass. HSBF. You're mad at him. Me. Furious! Especially because I don't know what he was doing! I could have helped him out if I knew. HSBF. Yes. So there really was a mission? Me. Probably a mission to get himself killed. I can't deal with that. I can barely afford to pay for the therapy that his babies will need to get over that, and I'm a billionaire. Me. Okay, we're just moving on to the next question because I'm done talking about him. What's more important, having the body of a 30-year-old in your 90s or having the mind of a 30-year-old? Me. Especially if you're probably going to live another 90 years. I feel like we need to run some tests on that. I feel like you're aging in reverse. You know, like a Backstreet Boy. HSBF. That's not the question. Me. Well, I can't ask you the actual question since you actually do have the mind and body of a 30-year-old and yet you were only born less than a year after my father. HSBF. Fair point. You should probably talk to Jane again about doing this interview. Me. Yeah, it won't work. The only thing that would get her to not make us do this is telling her who you really are, and my BFF said that's not an option. So answer the damn question, sexy pants. HSBF. Mind. After what I saw Peggy go through during the last few years, I'd rather be able to remember everyone I love and care about than be able to run a mile in 2 minutes. Me. Would you still want that if you ended up in your old asthmatic body? HSBF. I've heard modern treatments for asthma are great! Me. They don't even have CFCs anymore. HSBF. See, it wouldn't be so awful now. So would you rather have the body or mind of your 30-year-old self? Me. Well, my 30-year-old body wouldn't be suffering the after effects of palladium poisoning, so there's a plus in that direction. However, Aunt Piggy thinking that I was Howard kind of freaked me out. I don't want to put people through that. There's also the possibility that my 30-year-old body would be dealing with cocaine withdrawal. Me. See, this is another thing we're going to have to come up with fake answers for. I'm never going to say something that personal in the New York Times or anywhere else. I might be 30 seconds from crying. I hate crying. HSBF. I agree. Me. Actually, I think we're going to have to come up with fake answers for everything. The next question is, do you think you know how you're going to die or something along those lines? I don't think they could print a straight answer from either of us on that one. HSBF. Because the answer to that is probably in battle to save the world for both of us? Me. Actually, it's kind of more than that. When Wanda was mindfucking us before she was on our side, she made me have a vision of you dying in my arms. It is part of the reason why I thought Ultron would be a good idea. I can't lose you, and I made some pretty fucked up choices when presented with that possibility. HSBF. Shut! Me. Again, my feelings for you have led to a lot of questionable decisions. Apparently those feelings have been around for a really long time. HSBF. Maybe we shouldn't do this. You could come up with some other excuse for Jane. She has to be somewhat reasonable. Me. We definitely shouldn't do this. But the only thing Jane is going to accept is me letting her publicize Benjamin's good deeds, and that's not an option, so we're doing this. Although, not necessarily tonight. We should probably break this all up in small chunks. HSBF. You're probably right. Me. Mostly because I have yawned twice in the last 5 minutes. It's past my bedtime. HSBF. Therefore, I definitely should let you go because you need to be well rested for tomorrow. Good luck with tomorrow's interviews. Me. Yes. Here's hoping I find an assistant who is not an axe murderer or supervillain. Also, someone not willing to kill me via foods I'm allergic to would be great. Is that so much to ask for? HSBF. How bad were these interviews today? Me. Absolutely horrible. I think Yo-Yo may have disarmed somebody after the interview was over, but I can't be sure. HSBF. I am not even surprised. Me. I'm not either. I'll text you again on Sunday around lunchtime, your time. At least what I think your time zone is. You can have about 6 burgers and I can drink virgin mimosas with my French toast. It can be a brunch date. HSBF. What is a virgin mimosa? Me. Mexican Sprite and fresh squeezed orange juice. Not horrible, especially mostly because I'm using the good stuff with actual sugar. HSBF. It's a date then!